ride. I forgot.
It is what it is.
This is your time to catch up, boo. Coronavirus. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, karibu. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to get updated, and the bell to get updated as soon as I post a new video for you. Okay, so let's get straight onto the video of the day today. But before we do that, have you watched the previous episode? So the topic of the day today is
You normally use. So normally for my daily means of transport, I always use the bus. I use the bus to go to work, and the bus to go back home, and the bus to go to my friends, and the bus to go everywhere. Once in a while I use a tram as well. If I'm in the center of St. Etienne, I use the tram. Yeah, so the bus and the tram mostly. And then what means of transport do I normally use to travel? So to travel here in France, I've used, I think, all the means of transport. I've used the train, the TGV, the high-speed train. I've used flights. I've used a car, a friend's car. I've gone somewhere in a friend's car. So yeah, I think I've used almost every means of transport to go somewhere, except a bus. I haven't actually gone on a bus. Can you imagine? Oh wait, I have gone on a bus. Like a long distance bus is what I'm talking about. I haven't gone far on a bus. I think that's the only one I haven't done. But otherwise, I've used pretty much everything.
I definitely recommend using the bus. Buses are very convenient, very cheap. If you book in advance, you can pay less than 12 euros to travel within France and even outside France. If you book it in good timing, you can pay between 10 to 20 euros. And if you book it like really last minute, you pay between 20 to like 30 euros, which isn't really bad. Second, using the bus is nice because you get to like see towns, get to have the exterior view. Compared to like using a train or a plane, you just pass through places so fast you don't even get to see how they look.
When traveling to work, I would just use my legs because it's pretty close, or when it's raining or I'm just not feeling so well, I would just use the bus or the tram. And for my long distance travels or just traveling for holidays, I think for me what worked was the bus. Flix it's called Flixbus. I would use Flixbus to travel, and sometimes the train, because I think those two are really cheap. They were quite affordable depending on the places I was going. And yeah, I think Flixbus and trains are really affordable, but buses are more affordable than anything. And still, I think one has to be careful because sometimes flights are expensive if you're visiting other countries, so you have to check online and compare the prices before. So the means of transport that I normally use within my area, like the means of transport that I normally use daily when I'm going to work, when I used to go to work, was by foot. I used to go by foot since my school is just near where I live. But when I need to move around in the city, like if I'm going far around in the city, I usually use the bus. The bus. And then in terms of travel, I usually use mostly the bus, which is my best bus is Flixbus. That is usually the cheapest option, but sometimes even you can get flights for cheaper. So if you book early, you can get really cheap flights.
I don't really travel a lot by train. Yeah.
Thanks to coronavirus, I have only traveled to Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium. And even within France, I've only traveled to the towns in the east. All the things I wanted to do were mostly like within Easter henceforth, and thanks to coronavirus, I haven't done them.
So when we first arrived, like about a month, less than a month in, we had a trip to Paris, which was a trip to the place where they organized this whole thing, and they paid for us the trip. We went by train. They paid for us the train ticket. It's a TGV, the high-speed train. It was quite expensive, I think. It came to like around 160 something euros to Paris and back to Lyon. Yeah, but that was great. The train was good. The trip was very interesting. I have a very interesting story about that trip, but not the best. I just had such high and such low moments in Paris. That's the thing. Like, just the day I decided to go, the night I decided to go to the Eiffel Tower, it was just like I was just walking because I knew we were going to the Eiffel Tower and I was so excited about it, and it was at night as well. And so I was just walking, and then the girl I was with was like, look to your left, and I turned to my left and the Eiffel Tower right there, smack dead in front of me. It was just, oh my god, I just felt like a rush. Always hear about Paris and the Eiffel Tower, and the fact that it was at night, it was lit up as well. It was just so beautiful and magical, and it was a bit, oh my god, and it's so romantic. Like, people around there, they're like little groups playing music. People are there with their boobs, and you're just there single, and you're like, where my man? Paris can be such a romantic city, for real. I'm not even joking. Yeah, you need to go there with your partner. It was quite something seeing the Eiffel Tower, but that night something bad also happened to me. So, like, you know, Paris was a roller coaster for me. But that was Paris. Yeah, that was my first trip when I came to France. Yeah, so that's where I've traveled to, number one. Another place I've traveled to is Chambéry, where Joy lives. I went to visit Joy. It was on her birthday. We took a trip. This time we went in a friend of mine, Andrea. Shout out to you, Andrea. Her and her boyfriend's car. Well, her boyfriend's car, I guess. Yeah, they drove. We split the amount for the fuel money. So yeah, we just divided it by the 5 of us. I believe we were 5 of us in the car. Yeah, and we went and we visited Joy, and it was her birthday, and we got lit and we turned up, and yeah, we went to the lake. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that trip. Thank you, Joy, for inviting us. Yeah, it was great. Another place I went to was Spain. So what happened was, it was coming to Christmas time. A lot of my friends here are European, mostly Spanish, actually just Spanish, and they were all going home for Christmas. Naturally, it's quite close to France, so it's quite easy for them to do it, and I didn't want to stay here alone, and a couple of them invited me, but then I was like, I also just don't want to go to someone's house for that long. Like, I don't want to bother them. But yeah, one of my friends, Anna, shout out to you, Anna, she really insisted. Like, she invited me once and I was like, nah, it's okay, I'll see what to do. And then she invited me again and again and again, and she was quite insistent on it. So I was like, okay, if she gets tired of me, then she's literally begged me to come. So anyway, I was really happy about that. You know when someone invites you na kashingo pande, they're like, oh, you can come if you want. She's not those if you want people. She's like, yes, come. And I was like, I felt good about that, like that she told me, like, quite seriously. So yeah, I went to her place and I flew there. I took a flight there. Actually, what happened is I took a flight. I had to sleep in an airport in Portugal because that was the connection, and the other flight was the next day. So yeah, I slept in an airport. Can you imagine? I slept in the freaking airport, and I realized so many people sleep in the airport. I didn't know that the airport, there's so many people who sleep there, and people are like dead asleep. I was scared to be like dead asleep because I didn't want to be like robbed or anything. I was like trying to tie my scarf to my suitcase, to my everything, so that if nothing disappears in case I fall asleep. But even when I fell asleep, I was like, you know, one eye open, just like to see what's going to happen. But anyway, I slept at the airport. The next day, I flew to Spain, Sevilla to be specific. Her and her dad came and picked me. Those, by the way, were some of the roughest flights ever. There was so much turbulence, especially the flight from Lyon to Lisbon or Portugal. Oh my god, that flight was like just shaking, and it was so bad that even the flight attendants didn't stand up to serve nothing. They said there's no flight service for that flight because it was just so turbulent and it was so scary, and everybody was just like holding on to their seats. There was a guy who was throwing up. It was such a crazy flight. I was like, everyone was, you know, when people are talking and then like starts shaking so bad, like everybody just shuts up and you're just there praying for your life. You're like, God, please. I didn't mean to do all those bad things. Oh my god, it was so crazy. Even when we landed, everyone, there was a little sigh of relief. Everyone was like, oh, like, and you could hear it. Everybody was just so relieved that we had landed. The next flight was also turbulent. It was a bit better, but it was also turbulent. Also a sigh of relief when we landed. I think there was a storm around that time, like a really bad storm. So those flights were something else. Like you can feel your stomach just dropping, and it's like, you just feel, oh, it was so bad. But anyway, I got there. Her and her dad came and picked me up, and we went to their house, which is like half an hour away from the city. And I had the most amazing 3 weeks. It was so much fun, and it's so much fun to go somewhere where you know someone, and someone who's from there, so they can show you around like as a local, better than seeing it like as a tourist, which is just so much better. Her family was so nice, so welcoming. I feel so uncomfortable staying in someone's house for that long. It's just weird. You don't want to step on anyone's toes, but they actually made me feel so welcome. They gave me my own room. Her friends were also really nice to me. She took me around to the city, showed me around Sevilla, and I just did her Spanish traditions with her and her family, and it was just a different Christmas for me. It's just so weird being away from your family for Christmas, but yeah, I couldn't have asked for better. It was an amazing trip. I have so many pictures of that trip. I think like that's the last time I took like a lot of pictures. I loved it. Yeah. Where else have I been? Of course, I've been to Lyon a lot of times. Anna as well, she loves Lyon, so she's taken me around Lyon, just to different places. I've toured Lyon basically. I think I've toured Lyon, walked around a lot of Lyon. It's a beautiful city. I love like European cities at night, especially like when it's rained and it stopped raining. Obviously I don't want to walk in the rain, but it's so beautiful. The floor is like glistening, and they have like this stone that it's just so beautiful at night after it's rained, like the stone, and then the lights are reflecting off the ground, and it's just quite romantic. I can't imagine walking around Nairobi after it's rained and being like, this is so romantic in Matope. No offense, but you know, it's quite beautiful. Another place I've flown Another place I've traveled to in France is Bordeaux. Joy and I actually went together to Bordeaux. We were just, you know, when you're an assistant, you have this like 2-week breaks when schools are on holiday, so you have like time to do different things. So yeah, we decided we want to travel to Bordeaux, and we went to Bordeaux. We were hosted by a very kind, generous friend of ours, another Kenyan assistant. He's called Hector. He has an amazing house. Literally I'm so jealous of him, by the way, Hector. I'm so jealous of you. A huge, beautiful house, like so close to the beach as well. It's like a villa. It's just It's the best. He has the best place. Oh my god, that place, I can't even speak about it. I can't believe he lives there alone in this like giant house, so close to the beach. He has so many things in that house. I don't know what he does with all that by himself, but he is so kind to invite us. We stayed with him for like 5 days, I think. He saw around Bordeaux, toured Bordeaux. We went to Cité du Vin in Bordeaux. It's a city of wine, and we did a whole wine tour, wine tasting. I think Joy has put a video about that on her channel. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see like the whole wine process and stuff like that, and you get to like smell interesting smells, and you press things and you listen to things and you watch videos, and it's a really nice experience. Bordeaux, there was also a traumatic experience, but we ain't gonna speak about that one. Yeah, Bordeaux was nice. Where else have I traveled to? I don't know, my brain is just stuck. Yeah, really close. By then you can also go really close. You don't have to go far. I went to this mountain called Lupila, climbed the mountain with a bunch of other assistants, which was fun. It's just fun to get out and do things, especially on Sundays. Let me tell you, Sundays in France are boring to the death. You can look outside and there's nothing, there's nobody on the streets. It's just dead as hell. Everything is closed. It's just so dead. Like there's absolutely nothing to do. So when people come together and suggest, oh, let's do this, I like to jump on those things because I'm normally bored as hell on Sundays. So anyway, yeah, one day we went to the mountain. We climbed the mountain. It took us like maybe 6 hours, like almost. Was it like 6 hours? I'd say 6 hours. I think that's a pretty good estimate of how long it took. Yeah, and it was really fun. It's just fun to do such things, and also to challenge yourself, because I was like, hey, no way in hell I'm walking for 6 hours. But then you go and you do it and you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And we had a picnic at the top and ate, and yeah, I just also get to talk to other different assistants who I normally don't hang out with. So it was small things like that are also nice. Yeah. I can't think of anywhere else I would go. I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. I had so many. You guys? There's so many places I wanted to go, and coronavirus just reared its ugly head. I wanted to go. One of the places I really wanted to go was Italy. I wanted to go to Italy so freaking bad. And after all these coronavirus things, and Italy has been hit so hard, and my chances are zero to like so slim of going there. And that's one of the places I wanted to go before I left Europe. I feel like I'm so close yet so far. But yeah, that's one of the places I wanted to go. Another place I wanted to go was like south of France, your Nice, Monaco, your bougie, Cannes, those places, where you gotta spend some coin. Maybe I've been saved from that. Yeah, that's another place I wanted to go. I know, so sad, coronavirus, because we would have had a bit of a break before we left France, so that should have been a good time to travel. Didn't happen, but at least I took opportunities. So when you can't just take the opportunity to travel, because you just never know, things can happen like coronavirus, and if you postpone things, you might never get to do it. So just do it while you can. And yeah, those are the places I've traveled to.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to travel as much as I would have wanted to, because most of my travels, I wanted to do them during winter holidays or spring holidays, and coronavirus happened, and yeah, everything was messed up. But before then, I had managed to go to Belgium. I went to Brussels, the capital city. I went to Bruges, a city there, and Antwerp, which is also a city there. I went to Luxembourg for a day. I know it was just a day, but it counts, I guess. And also, okay, that was it outside France. But within France, I went to Lille, on the northern part of France. And yeah, I didn't get to travel to other regions. I mostly traveled within Normandy, and I went to Rouen, I went to Caen. Yeah, I just traveled within my region.
The places I've been to around France would be Lyon, Bordeaux, Grenoble, Annecy. The places I've been to outside France have been Switzerland. Switzerland is right here. It's Switzerland, Geneva. I've been to Italy. I've been to Italy, Venice. If you haven't watched my Venice video, this is your time to catch up, boo.
When preparing for traveling, for me, what I would do is I would start preparing early in advance, like a month before or 2 months before. And I would check on the places I want to visit, if I have to pay fee to access some sites, say museums, if they're free, to check the accommodation prices on Airbnb or Booking. Okay, I used 2 sites, I think Booking.com or Airbnb, and yeah, just to check the prices, and then I would pay before to make sure that I don't pay when it's already so close, because that way it becomes expensive. So yeah, I think I would just make sure I paid in advance.
First, I would advise that you decide on the places and countries you want to visit in advance. Once you have the general idea in your mind, you can plan how you visit here, then here. And indecisiveness will actually cost you so much. Second, try to do group activities like group traveling, because that will save you on costs, obviously. Third, I have forgotten. Try to contact as many people as you know in the places you're going to visit. They can be accommodation solutions. And try to be practical with your ideas. For instance, don't travel up north, then follow into the country towards the south. It will be expensive. If you're traveling to Germany, for instance, do not go to Germany, then go to Spain. Try to align your visits.
I had set, every time before I travel, I used to give a set budget. So if you've watched my finance video, I had mentioned that I usually put aside 150 euros for enjoyment. So it depends on the month. It depends on the month, and also when the holidays are. So for example, during the months where there are no holidays, the money for enjoyment is for enjoyment within. But in the months that there are holidays, I need to save, so I don't do much. So probably around 150 euros, 100 to 150 euros when I'm planning my travels. The first thing you need to think about is your transport, the place where you're going, where you're going to stay. The cheapest options are of course staying with other people, but you can have other things like hostels, Airbnbs, and the other stuff. Parking, you need to prepare your bags, know what you're going to pack, know how you're going to get to your means of transport. Yes, and then the thing about budgets for traveling is that there's one thing someone has ever told me. I've ever planned, budgeted really strictly, but there's one thing someone has ever told me, that you can't really budget for a trip. Okay, you can do your best to budget, but especially if you're not going to a specific place, someone's house or something, they're just things that come up. I don't know, they just and they just come up and you just have to spend extra money. So take note of that.
Budgeting is just one. If you're going to take a flight or whatever means of transport you are going to take, look for it early in advance. There's always such cheap options. Like when we went to Bordeaux, which was just look, and it even lets you combine like the cheapest day to travel. We took a flight that was like 50 euros, like, which is, guys, that is pretty cheap for a flight. Even flights from Nairobi to Mombasa are more expensive. And back, this is a return ticket, by the way. Return ticket for 50 euros or 52 euros or something. So if you buy a ticket early, you can get really cheap tickets. And then I wish I had, okay, the second thing is knowing people and just getting to know people and staying in people's houses as opposed to getting a hotel or something. Obviously you can get a hotel, but then that just adds expenses. If you know someone and you can get to stay at their place and one day you can invite them to your place, that's always the best thing to do, in my opinion. And also you have someone to show you around the place where they live and stuff like that. For me, that's always the best solution, and a way to keep it cheap as well and more fun. It's just better in general if you go and you stay with someone. And as budgeting on the trip itself, I'd say that's quite hard. When you travel, you spend so much money because you're just so excited. There are new things, new restaurants, new food, new this. You're just like, yes, I've traveled, and it can get quite expensive. So I don't know. I have a problem with that one too. If you can tell me how you keep it on a close, tight budget when you travel, I'd love to know, because when I travel I just spend so much money and I'm like, I don't know where all that money went. But yeah, I don't know. For flights, check in early. By the way, check in early for flights. The later you check in, the more behind on the plane you sit. So if you want to sit at the front, you know, where the people who pay the good money sit, check in like immediately, because you get like 24 or I think 48 to 24 hours before the flight. You can start checking in. So if you just do it immediately it opens, do it. And also don't do it before that, because then you have to pay. So you just wait until they open the free checking and do it immediately, and you'll get quite a good seat. You can probably also choose like which seat depending on the airline. Also pack your bags according to the airline. Some airlines say that you can only carry one carry-on bag. So if it's a little suitcase, you can only carry this little suitcase, not even a handbag. Some airlines are that strict. So make sure you follow such guidelines. Always download your tickets, print them if you must, just for and in case. Like the day I slept in the Portugal airport, I had my ticket on my boarding pass on my phone, but just in case my phone died, because it was going to be a long night, I had a printout as well. You can do such things, just little things.
When I was in Switzerland, I stayed at an Airbnb. When I was in Italy, I stayed in hostels. In Bordeaux, I stayed at a friend's. Yeah, but if you don't have friends in the particular area, and if you're really looking to travel cheaply, I'd advise you go for a hostel or an Airbnb. But mostly hostels. Hostels are really, really cheap, nicely cheap. Yes, that's it.
Like I told you, where did I stay? I stayed in Paris. I stayed at the France Education International place. They gave us a room. Everyone had their own room. It was pretty good, pretty decent. And then I went to a friend of mine. Shout out to you, Wamboys. I went to Wamboys' place. And yeah, she let me stay at her place for the few remaining days, which was really, really nice. We had like a Kenyan nights thing. You know, it was lit. It was litty. Joy was also there. That's why I stayed in Paris. And in Spain, I stayed at my friend Anna's. In Chambéry, I stayed at Joy's. In Bordeaux, I stayed at Hector's. And where else have I gone? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've not stayed at. Oh yeah, there's a time I went to Lyon for a concert. I aya Nakamura concert, aya Nakamura. And yeah, we stayed in a Ibis budget hotel, which was like 20 euros a person a night, which isn't bad. It isn't bad at all. 20 euros isn't bad at all. It was quite a budget room, really like closed, but it worked for the night. It just worked because we're going for a concert at night anyway, so we're going to sleep for not that long, so it worked. It was the cheapest option. Yeah, that's the only hotel I've stayed in. I haven't even stayed in an Airbnb at all. People's Places and that hotel, the budget hotel. Yeah, that's basically it. And then,
while traveling through France, I would contact assistants that I knew in the town I was traveling to, so that they can host me and also like act like my tour guide. While traveling to the other countries, I tried to contact everyone I knew, but in Belgium, I remember I had to get a hostel. It was very last minute in Brussels, and I actually just paid 20 euros a night. So use other assistants. You can also use hostels.
Okay, so every time I traveled, I either stayed at a friend's house. Yeah, if I have friends or other assistants in those places, or Airbnb or friends' houses, but mostly Airbnb. Yeah, I know people who used couch surfing, but I wasn't able to, so I ended up using Airbnb.
Before coming, yes, take your time, reflect, think about the places you want to visit, because it's true, we really do have access to the entire of Europe. But while planning, do not neglect France. France is very beautiful in its own, and my must-visit place in France, I think, is Paris. Paris is not overrated, it truly is a beautiful place. And outside France, I think Germany is a must-go place, because you will realize that in Europe the architecture is really kind of the same, but Germany is more modern. It's a bit different from the rest of Europe, so you must visit.
Must go places. Ooh, I'd say Paris. Paris is a must go. If you're not working in Paris, then take some time and go to Paris. I can't imagine someone coming to France and not going to Paris. That would be insane. Other than Paris, I have no idea. I'd say go to a city outside of France. It can be in Spain, it can be in Italy, it can be in Germany, it can be in any of the close countries around. There's so many big cities in Europe, so much to see, so much I wish I went to see. Of the places I've gone that I would recommend you go, I went to Lyon Festival of Lights. That was it was so beautiful, guys. The Festival of Lights was so amazing. You just see like projections that are so wild on like the biggest buildings, telling like little stories with like lights. Oh my god, lights can do a lot of things. Not like this light that I'm using that's shining in my glasses, but man, like, oh, Festival of Lights blew my freaking mind. So if you can go to Lyon Festival of Lights, I highly recommend. It's very packed during that time, so if you want to go, book a place to stay early, because it's super full. The streets are so crowded, you can barely walk. You're like this, literally someone in front of you, someone behind you, someone on this side, someone on this side. So full, but it's that popular because it's that amazing. Festival of Lights is a must go. Other than that, nowhere I've gone really is a must go. Yeah, just see where you have people you know, and just go there. Just don't hesitate. Yeah, have fun, travel. I was debating, like, you know, how much money do you spend, but then I was like, now even though I stay in my house, I don't spend the money, and I don't travel. What's the freaking point? What's the freaking point of being there, of being in France just to stay in your house and save money for what? Experiences sometimes are just better than money. So if I was you, I would travel. I'm not saying blow money or whatever. Obviously, do it within your means, but I'd advise you to travel. It's just the best thing you can do. Yeah, experiences you know, they're just so much better than money. So yeah.
For me, places that were a must go when I was coming was Amsterdam, the south of France, Paris, of course. For me, Italy was a must go. Rome. Yeah, but some of these places I didn't manage to go myself, so in life.
Places I would highly recommend for someone to visit. First, if you come to France, you're not in France if you have not gone to Paris. Please go to Paris. It's really, yeah, it's, of course, it's Paris. I don't need to describe it. And I'll only recommend places I have been to. So in Belgium, Bruges and Brussels, those are really beautiful. And Lille was lively, and it's big and full of life. So yeah, Lille I would highly recommend. In Normandy, I lived in one of the cities. There are 3 cities, but I would recommend Rouen. Rouen is really beautiful, and I love Normandy particularly because it has cities. For example, the city I was staying in, it was completely destroyed during the war, so it has different architecture compared to the rest of France because they really had to rebuild it quickly. So yeah, if you're interested in such things and historical things about the war, about fishing, Normandy is a good place to visit. Yeah, I think that's it.
We have come to the end of the video today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.